Pokemon Legends ZA is ambitious if nothing else. The team behind this game are looking to shake up the Pokemon formula in many different ways, and while some of these changes may leave fans with a bit of apprehension, I for one am excited that the devs are willing to try new things. If you're on the fence about Pokemon Legends ZA, no worries, I've got you. I'll share with you why I'm excited for the game, and maybe that will help you determine if Pokemon Legends ZA is right up your alley or not. Without further ado, here are 10 reasons to be hyped for the game. Reason number 1, a bustling city filled with potential. In Legends ZA, the entirety of the game is set in a revamped Lumiose city, where people and Pokemon coexist in harmony. By day, you'll be able to explore the city, make new friends, potentially help them out with some side questing, while building up a team through catching Pokemon in the streets or in the designated wild zones, which are special biomes within the city that might hold rare Pokemon. Once the sun sets though, Lumiose City transforms and you'll be able to take part in the ZA Battle Royale. By taking on the many trainers littering the streets and the rooftops of Lumiose City, you'll be able to rank up and fight stronger and stronger trainers until you're rank A. But more on the story in just a little bit. Although Lumiose City is greatly expanded compared to its original appearance in Pokemon X and Y, fans are a bit worried that the limited setting in the game may drain some of Pokemon's adventure vibes. Lumiose City itself has many different sectors and zones that look to offer that biome diversity that people may be looking for. We'll have to wait and see if it actually pays off or if it becomes monotonous over time, but if they do it right, I can see them offering a very focused and unique experience that you will not get in any other Pokemon game. Reason number 2, Legends ZA is not just a sequel, it's a statement. It's proof that Pokemon is willing to evolve. While the mainline games have usually played it safe, both Legends Arceus and even the fun but deeply flawed Scarlet and Violet have shown us that there are much more engrossing ways to engage players in the Pokemon universe. This time around, we're getting a fully active time battle system, but you and your Pokemon have to position well and time your commands properly, for example, using Protect at the right time to get the most out of the battle system. Unlike the mainline titles, Pokemon attack moves do not have a limited usage amount but instead are tied to cooldowns, which could really shake things up because now you can't use the same powerful move that is super effective against a certain Pokemon all the time, which will change up the way that we build our Pokemon and the way that we interact with the battle system. In the ZA Royale itself, it also is beneficial to sneak up on people to land that critical hit that guarantees you get a status ailment, so even a lower level Pokemon like a Weedle or something like that can greatly contribute to a fight with a Pokemon that is much higher level than it by landing that sneak attack, which gives them the guaranteed poison, and then you can swap it out and so on and so forth. Just like the whole timing of the attack example with Protect, I wonder if changing your Pokemon in and out will have a timing component as well, where the act of a well-timed switch-in hinges a bit more on reaction speed, and also we can take advantage of cooldowns maybe by switching into a Pokemon that may have a specific weakness, but the coverage move that the enemy Pokemon has might be on cooldown. Another thing to note too is that while your character's placement in the battle doesn't really matter for trainer battles, against wild Pokemon, they can hurt you. So you'll have to duck and roll away from any oncoming attacks or position yourself to not be in danger. The same can be said about your partner Pokemon, because in this game, every attack has a set of startup animations. For something like Bullet Punch or Quick Attack, they'll come out almost instantaneously, making them very hard to avoid, but for other attacks like Flame Wheel, the move itself has a bit of a startup and then launches in a linear line. By being smart with how you position your partner Pokemon, you can get out the way and avoid damage entirely. Some other attacks, like Stealth Rock, may occupy a zone, and if your Pokemon were to walk through them or on them, they'll take damage, so you have to be smart about that as well. Anyways, the battle system is different, and it's looking to shake things up quite a lot. The way that we'll have to approach battles will be quite different, and that's pretty exciting. Reason number 3, a broken cycle. They are no longer stuck to that 2-year release cycle between different Pokemon games. I gathered that after the mixed response to the fun but deeply flawed Scarlet and Violet, games that have a lot of great ideas and great potential but were hindered by that lack of polish, lack of testing, and lack of dev time. Game Freak and the Pokemon Company may have finally learned their lesson, and are providing the devs more time to cook and execute on their ideas. Who knows though, maybe the 1-year additional dev time may have not done much for the game, we'll just have to wait and see when the game releases. But that's just my opinion, what are your thoughts on this? Has the bigwigs behind the Pokemon Company finally realized how much damage they're doing by rushing out these games year after year? Or do you think it's just more of a marketing ploy to line up with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2? Let us know in the comments below. If you're having a great time, support your boy by hitting that like button and subscribe for more Pokemon Legends ZA content. Thanks. Reason number 4. While this mechanic is divisive, we're finally getting a return to Mega Evolutions, something that I really liked and was super bummed when it got phased out. And I can kinda understand, Megas were not well balanced from a gameplay perspective during its inception year. Mega Evolutions gave a lot of fan favorite Pokemon and power crept Pokemon a new sheen, from better stats to new abilities to type combinations. Mega Evolutions themselves provide a lot to any Pokemon that gets them. And when Game Freak moved away from Megas, I was a bit sad that some of my favorite Pokemons, especially the ones from Generation 4, did not get a Mega Evolution, but now that the mechanic is back, I am all aboard the Hopium train. Already, there have been some really awesome designs that got announced. Mega Halucha, Mega Dragonite, and even the Gen 6 starters finally getting a Mega Evolution so many years later. Let's freaking go. I am super hyped to discover and theory craft teams with all of the new Mega Evolutions that we'll be getting, and it seems that we'll be unlocking these Mega Evolutions to use by facing off against rogue, wild Mega Evolved Pokemon, who can't control themselves and are just frenzying out in the city. The Mega Evolution mechanic seems to be a meter build-up instead of a transform whenever you want to, which adds another layer to the gameplay. Because of the mechanics' importance to the story, there's a very high chance that the ZA starters will not only be getting a Kalosian form, but also will be rocking new Mega Evolutions. Hopefully, the return of Megas could also hint at its inclusion in the 10th generation of games, but this time, better balanced for actual competitive battling. Mega Evolutions are not only marketable, but they're also extremely impactful, not only to the gameplay, but the mechanic itself also comes with some major lore implications, which leads us to reason number 5. Lore galore. For those not in the know or old heads who only played up to a certain generation of games and skipped out on all the games with Mega Evolution, essentially any game with Mega Evolutions is an alternate timeline from the original timeline where things are a little bit different. Games like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire technically take place in an alternate universe to Ruby and Sapphire, unlike, for example, Fire Red and Leaf Green being a remake of the original set in the same timeline. And there are some minor changes that have really huge implications, from how the characters turn out to the locales being quite different, so on and so forth. With that said, similar to Legends Arceus, Legends CA comes baked in with many lore threads that enriches the region of Kalos and may have been underdeveloped within the original release of X and Y. Fans of X and Y who have been miffed by the cancellation of the mythical Pokemon Z version will finally get a coherent story behind plot important characters like AZ and Pokemons like Zygarde. We'll also be learning a bit more about Mega Evolutions thanks to a major plot thread in the game pairs us up with an investigator who is looking into why wild Pokemon are frenzying and turning into rogue Mega Evolved forms. There is an organization that they have teased to be working in the city who have the color palette and the demeanor of the bad guys, so I mean, they're probably the bad guys unless they're gonna throw a fast one on us like they did with Legends Arceus, no spoilers. But anyways, on to reason number 6. Passion for fashion. In Legends ZA, our customization options for our player character, the trainer, has been greatly expanded, especially compared to the travesty that was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I get the school setting, but at the same time, how do you go from X and Y, to even Sun and Moon, to even Sword and Shield, which all have really decent character customization options, to whatever was in Scarlet and Violet? I don't know how that happened. Like, rant aside, I'm super happy that there's a lot more drip in this version of the game now. Like, I'm excited to customize my character, and bro, I can't tell you how tilting it was to play Scarlet and Violet and just have no real good option. And then we can flex the drip with reason number 7. There is a multiplayer battle royale mode, something that could be just a gimmicky for fun sort of thing if the battle system was more tailored towards just a single player experience, which I don't mind, but it would be cool to see that the battle system might be robust enough to have this mode actually be competitively viable and fun to play with friends and be worthwhile to get sweaty in. But even if the battle system ends up not being your cup of tea, this next reason will probably get you going. Reason number 8, Pokemon Champions integration. All of the details have not been worked out yet. There is a confirmed Pokemon Home integration with Pokemon Champions, so we will be able to transfer over Pokemon in Pokemon Home for the more traditional competitive battling experience. I would not be surprised that, like Pokemon Legends Arceus, access to regional forms that are introduced in this game may be locked to having this game at least for quite a while for Pokemon Champions. If you have any interest in getting into Pokemon Champions, you can't go wrong with picking up Legends CA and playing that in the meantime. Reason number 9. Pokemon Legends ZA is backwards compatible with the Switch 1 and Switch 2. And while it remains to be seen if the Switch 1 can even handle Pokemon Legends ZA adequately, we do know that there is a price difference between both the Nintendo Switch 1 and Switch 2 versions, with the Switch 1 version retaining its $60 price tag, while the Switch 2 version being $70. With that said though, you're not forced to get a Nintendo Switch 2 if you wanted to play the game. Enjoying it though is a different story altogether. I don't have very high hopes for this one, so fingers crossed that the Switch 1 will actually run this game decently, but I won't hold my breath. And for the final reason is a pretty simple one. I mentioned it a couple times already in this video. I love to see innovation and creativity being the core driving force behind the mechanics and story of Pokemon Legends ZA. For a long time, the Pokemon games have played it safe because that's what works. With the success and reception of Pokemon Legends Arceus, even though there are a lot of blemishes with that game, it sold that fantasy of catching Pokemon in the wild so well that we have something like this. We should be praising and pushing for more innovation and giving the devs room to try stuff like this, where they're not afraid to mix up the combat system or the story structure or even the setting of the game, because they have this passionate, focused vision. With gaming companies, the best way to give them feedback is with your wallet. And while the announcement of a paid DLC before the game even comes out kind of rubs me the wrong way, I can't admit that this game looks to be a very passionate game. For me personally, I haven't been excited for a Pokemon game in a very, very long time. I think the last one I was really excited for was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so yeah, you can count the years up by yourself. This one though, I think this might be something right up my alley. It looks fun, it looks interesting, and also it has a certain attitude to it that draws me to the game. I can definitely see why this game might rub Pokemon fans the wrong way, especially if you jump into it with a certain set of expectations, like I want it to be like a mainline title, sure. But if you're somebody like me who values innovation and wants to try new things and new ideas and new concepts, this game is right up your alley. Anyways, these are all the reasons as to why I am hyped for Pokemon Legends ZA, hopefully to help give you a better understanding of the game and if it's for you or not. Will you be picking up the game? Let us know in the comments below. For more fun Pokemon videos, like my thoughts on Pokemon Legends Arceus, check out the video on screen right now. My name is Varsona, and I'll see you in the next video.